Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about kind of the deals you've done over the years. Like, what's kind of your strategy? Yeah, I guess like what's the strategy you typically look for in deals?
Yeah, so let's be clear. Like most cash buyers, I have a full-time job. For me, it just happens to be real estate brokerage. But cash buyers could be accountants, doctors, dentists, whatever, right? So my flipping business or my investing business is my quote-unquote side hustle.
Right.
Right? So I buy one deal a month. Sometimes it's two deals in 1 month and no deals the next, but on average, a deal a month. And most of the deals I buy are single family, and they are right around $300,000 or less is kind of my sweet spot. So we can talk about why if you want to, but that's what I do.
Yeah. Any reason why?
Yeah. So I have the ability, I'm fortunate enough to be able to pay cash for my deals, but I choose not to.
Right.
Because I can do more deals if I use a lender, right? It's hard money. So I put in, say 10 to 20% down, the rest is hard money. And my hard money accrues over time. But on $200,000, it accrues at a slower amount than at $600,000.
Yeah. Dude, at those higher ranges, you get rocked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like the lower income stuff. In Utah specifically, there's a lot of depth in that price point, a lot of first-time home buyers, people who are making hourly wages. They can afford that stuff. Not as many people making the six figures, right?
Yeah.
Quick question about, so you're buying these properties. What do you do with them? Do you rent them, fix them up?
Yeah.
What's kind of your focus?
So every property is a little different. But remember, I got this full-time job. So for me, not every buyer is in my situation. But for me, I don't want to swing a hammer. I don't want to tear out carpet. That's not I don't have time for that really.
Yeah.
I'm not above it. I just don't have time for it. So what I like to do is wholesale, right? I buy the deal from you, and then I immediately put it on the market. Maybe I got to do some stuff. I got to fix some windows. I got to mow the grass. I can do that. Then I go to market, and I may not get a premium dollar, but I don't care as long as I can make a spread.
Yeah, because you didn't have to go in and put a ton of money into the rehab.
Exactly. So in short, my goal is to buy it, make it FHA, so that's a loan program, make it FHA ready so I can appeal to the widest number of buyers, and then I sell it. Now get this, I always offer, and look, we're talking to wholesalers, but this is interesting. I always offer lease options and seller finance. And so if I find a seller finance buyer, typically they're willing to pay more, and I can get interest on my money. So I'll pay the hard money lender off, and I'll roll with the deal for 2 or 3 years until the buyer closes.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So for me, that works. It's passive.
Do you have a certain amount that you require down when going with the lease option or seller finance?
I have a high risk tolerance, so no, I don't have a big threshold. Maybe 10%. I want some skin in the game.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot.
Dang, I like it. I like it a lot. So what's the end goal? Just to do, build up, use your money while it's sitting there, or do you have a certain amount of properties you want to do? Like, what's the end goal in real estate?
Yeah, at first I just wanted to make as much money as I could. Now I look at my life and I say, where do I feel anxiety? And for me, it's the first of the month when I have to pay the mortgage, right? I know I can pay it. Like I look at my bank account, I got that money.
Yeah.
But it's still, I don't know how you feel. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So goal number one is pay off our house. And we are at a net worth where we could probably pull that off now, but our money is tied up. So we got to liquidate all that. So in the next 24 months, we'd like to pay off our house.
Cool.
Then we get a HELOC, and that money's still accessible to us, right? Then goal number two is how do we build as passive wealth as we can? So wholesale's nice, but seller finance for us is the path to victory.
Okay.
So finding seller finance deals where we make the best deals are when you find me a seller finance deal. So I'm seller financing it from the owner, from the seller, and then I turn and seller finance it to a buyer on a double wrap, right?
Yeah.
And I make a spread every month, and I do this amount of work. So
How are you finding those seller finance deals? Just from wholesalers or?
Yeah.
from
So
other ways?
let's say I do 12 deals a year, one a month. Probably 11 of those are wholesale deals, and then one's a sourced deal that I find
That
myself.
You find from someone?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you willing to pay a premium for those seller finance deals? How do you feel about those?
So I don't know
Like,
how
are
other
they that
buyers are.
important to you?
I won't pay a premium because ultimately what I want is the spread. So let me tell you about a deal I did in Enterprise, rural market in Utah. Bought a deal for $85,000, sold it for $119 on seller finance. The guy brought in, I think, $20K. So he's got some skin in the game. At the end of the deal, if he refis me out, right, I have a 5-year balloon. At the end of 5, I get the spread of 30. So I make an interest, and then at the end I make $35K, or whatever the difference between 119 minus 85, right? So that's really healthy. If I buy it wrong and I'm into it too steep on the front end, the back end isn't as pretty, right?
Yeah. And you're making interest, so that's good for you for the 5 years.
Right. Now, most buyers are saying, if I want interest, because I'm making 6%, that isn't super sexy, right? And if I can flip more deals, then I can get, 15, 20%, I get 25K pops. Those are awesome. But what I'm talking about is freedom. I don't want to do anything. I do zero and I get checks in the mail. If that makes sense.
Well, real quick,